right, everybody, it's Blockbuster Mentality. I'm Ben.
I'm Dave.
Dave, happy to be recording once again.
Absolutely.
What's new with you, man?
Not much with me, although I have been watching a lot of the World Cup this cycle.
You've been watching a lot, really.
I've watched I've watched a bit of nearly every match so far.
Obviously, America didn't qualify. What are you following a certain team or?
Well, normally I'd follow the United States. There's a number of teams that didn't make it this year, actually. The Netherlands didn't make it. Italy didn't make it. It was the first time in a long time. So it's kind of just a weird thing. The U.S. team is kind of in flux. They had to fire the coach who thought was going to kind of rebuild the program. They had to get rid of him.
Right.
But I still enjoy it. I'm not a big soccer guy, but I do like the World Cup. I actually really like seeing like different countries battle each other. I like seeing a contrast. I think it was like Nigeria versus like Croatia or something. You see like one team from one place, is one group of people. They're clearly different than the other group of people they're playing, right? And I like that like contrast of like countries and battling, and they have different skill sets and different.
Yeah, I mean it's
Japan versus somebody else. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean it's almost its own little Olympics. Obviously. I mean it's every 4 years.
Exactly.
I finally watched my first match today. It's the time of this recording. It was Croatia and Argentina.
Oh, okay.
So obviously Messi, that whole thing. I watched it at work. At work, they're letting us. They put it on the TVs all across the office and everything. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's especially you don't realize how serious and how much people get into it, and then you see like shots of the crowd and stuff, and they like see like these fans of Argentina like holding their hands and like closing their eyes. It's just like this stuff is so important to these people. I mean, I love when my teams do great. I get upset when they don't, but it's not a matter of it's not my life.
The thing about it though, you said teams, and for a lot of these countries, this is the sport.
That's true.
It's
true.
not like, well, it's hockey season and there's basketball and then college basketball and then baseball.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
All this stuff. Soccer is the sport. That's all they play.
Right.
And that's part of the reason, one of the reasons at least, why some of these countries, even these tiny countries, can beat the United States. We're a country of 300 million people with the best athletes in the world, but we don't put together the best soccer team because the best athletes go do other things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, when I'm a Detroit fan, so when the Lions are out of it, but by January, then I'm like, all right, let's see what the Red Wings and the Pistons are doing, for the rest of the year. They play till April, hopefully. Oh, April's over. Oh, Tigers got the summer now, so let's see what the Tigers are doing in baseball. So yeah, when it's all you have,
That's
only teams.
everything.
Well, I mean, even within certain leagues. I mean, you look at the Green Bay Packers. What other thing do those people who are Green Bay fans have? I mean, the Green Bay Packers are those people's life. You know,
and go figure. Right, that's why they're so crazy.
Right.
About it. It's like, and it's sort of like college football, right? Alabama.
Right. Yeah.
What's in Alabama? Well, there's no other. I don't think there's another major team in Alabama, is there? I don't think that.
Not that I know of. Yeah. Alabama State.
Exactly. And then for pro, you got to go to Louisiana or something like that. So. Yeah, I don't know. The World Cup is really interesting. I'm not as excited. When the U.S. plays, I get genuinely nervous. I really want them to win. The last couple they did fairly well, but yeah. So hopefully they've got a lot of young players. I'm looking forward to the next cycle, and
So what the cycles? I mean, the next cycle would then be like their one game eliminations or whatever. Like if they lose, they're out then, or they do. It's really complicated. I don't really understand all of it. But they're in like a confederation, like a North American and partially Central American confederation, and they play over a series because it's every 4 years the World Cup. Right.
So at some point they do friendlies and all that stuff, but then at some point you get into actual qualifying and you have to accrue points by winning. I don't know how many they have to play, but the top 3 or 4, that's how you qualify. But if you lose, they lost to like Trinidad and Tobago or something like that. Just a terrible team. It was like a terrible loss.
Yeah.
And by losing, you get nothing. If you win, you get like 3 points. If you tie, you get 1. I think that's how it works. And whoever that gets to accrues over the course of qualifying over 2-3 years, that's who advances.
2-3 years. But I mean, like within the actual World Cup tournament.
Oh, right now. I'm sorry. Yeah, the cycle is 4 years. But right now, as of recording, they go into so many groups. 4-team groups, the top 2 advance to a knockout, and then it's single elimination after that.
All right. Well, I'm excited for that because Argentina lost today, but technically they're not out yet because they might. I don't know. I don't even know. So
it just depends how. Whoever can get the most with winning or tying.
Yeah,
Tying is gay, though. They need to.
Yeah. It's funny because I started watching it today because I've really never sat down and watched soccer. I started watching it a little bit today, and I was like, man, this is so boring. But I kept watching.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, wait, this is kind of exciting.
You start to adjust to the pace of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, somebody score already, but then you're like, okay, this is better. This kind of like with hockey. I mean, some of the hockey games are 2-0 or 1-0, and it's like, I still enjoyed watching it the whole time because it's tense. It's,
right.
you know, what's going to happen? What's...
any moment it can break.
Right, exactly.
And then once you get into it, you don't want to miss any moment. And then you get with soccer, there are no commercials for 45, 50 minutes.
That's nice too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why, I think a lot of them have like actual ads on their jerseys and stuff, which I think the NBA is starting to do a little bit to maybe lessen the commercials, which
be good.
would be pretty cool.
I'd even take that for football too, because football is just out of hand with the breaks.
Yeah, they need to start doing that for sure. But you guys are here for Sicario.
You are.
Let's talk some Sicario. That was a good transition, right?
Sicario 2 is coming up soon.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, the time of when I don't know when we're going to release this episode, but yeah, Sicario 2 is coming out at the time of this recording.
We're both Denis Villeneuve fans.
Oh, Denis Villeneuve, man.
Which is interesting because, he does Sicario in 2015, Arrival in 2016, Blade Runner 2049, 2017. I don't know, does he have something coming out next year?
I know he's working on like a Cleopatra film. I don't know if that's coming out next year, but I really don't know what he's coming out with.
Have you seen any of his films before Sicario?
I know he came out with Enemy. Well, I mean, to answer your question shortly, no.
Neither have I, but he has a lot.
Yeah, Enemy, I guess, is one almost like controversial. Not controversial in the fact that people don't know how to take it.
Oh, really?
It's called Enemy with Jake Gyllenhaal. I'm not going to claim to know anything about it, but it's got like a twist. It's so confusing that it's a big split between the critics. And
interesting.
Yeah,
he's got like, I don't know. I mean, he's done like I think a dozen films.
Yeah,
only a few of them were short, so he has got a lot of feature films. I didn't realize he had put out that many.
Right. I mean, he's 50-something years old now, which
really?
I didn't. I just realized when I was doing research for the show. He's 50-something years old. So I mean, he's been around for a long time. It's just I think.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have thought he had done all that much either. I just assumed he was sort of a new director, and maybe just off my radar. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's kind of what you were saying. So, Sicario 2 is coming out, and this film is not only is doing Sicario right now is relevant to Sicario 2 coming out, but it's also relevant to all this mess that's going on at the border.
Right, yeah.
And I don't want to we don't touch that stuff. It's 10-foot pole.
Right.
It's don't pee on the rail. It's like, don't touch it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you can't ignore it completely. It's there.
The reality is the border between the United States and Mexico is a total disaster and a mess, and it doesn't appear that we're getting any closer to fixing it. And this film goes to the heart of a lot of that.
Right. Definitely.
It's brutal. Mm-hmm. And I understand, people want to escape that and all that. And people, we have all this, everybody has their own perspective on how things are supposed to work out. But the reality is there is basically a war going
right.
on.
Yeah. And it is, would you call it a drug war?
It's like more than that.
Yeah.
It's more, it's like, it's a war. I don't know if it's just for drugs. I mean, I think it goes beyond drugs. It's generally just about power. I mean, it's like, I don't know how I want to say, but like everything is so corrupt. Drugs are just one part of it.
Right.
I think it feels like some of these, at least the way the movie portrays life south of the border, like somewhere like Juarez is a total war zone. I mean, it can't just be drugs.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it could be anything else or not drugs. I mean, they have money and guns and like this indiscriminate killing.
Yeah. I mean, it's gang related, obviously. I mean, again, it doesn't have to all, like you said, power, I think is a big thing of it.
People use drugs or that thing as a way to gain power.
Right. Exactly. Because the drugs brings the money brings the power, as it seems. Because
people say like the drug war, you can't win it, and I guess that's true. But we don't, like, just by comparison, the United States, a lot of people do a lot of drugs here, but there isn't like people aren't firing tracer bullets and blowing up cities generally.
Right. Yeah.
There isn't like a mass carnage. People hanging from bridges with their limbs chopped off.
Oh my God. And it's almost like everyday life for these people. And it's just like a normal thing. You got kids walking down the street. They can easily see that.
Yeah.
Like that scene where he shows Emily Blunt on the rooftop. He's like, look over there. And you look and you see like the guns firing and stuff in the city. And it's just like, it's chaos.
It's
It's
insanity.
just insane, and that's just a normal thing for them. It's something that they're used to over there, and it's pretty scary.
I sympathize with it,
Right?
but I'm not gonna pretend like I have the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, if anyone had the answer, the clear-cut answer, I don't think any of it would necessarily be happening anymore. But obviously, Sicario, Emily Blunt, Josh Brolin, Benicio Del Toro, Denis Villeneuve obviously directed it.
It's interesting because this movie is so much different than Arrival and Blade Runner.
Yeah,
This is kind of like a war movie. This could be like almost like something you'd see like in Iraq or Afghanistan. It felt like, right?
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing to have noted, it was written by Taylor Sheridan, who also wrote Hell or High Water, and
I haven't seen that yet.
Definitely see that. It's better than his other movie that I was about to mention, Wind River, which was his directorial debut, was Wind River. But yeah, he wrote these 3 films, and he also wrote the second Sicario that obviously is coming out or has come out.
I liked Wind River.
Yeah, I liked it too. But yeah, Hell or High Water is definitely way better. It's just, I don't know, I might like the actors a little more. It's got Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges in it, which I don't know if you necessarily like Jeff Bridges.
No, I liked them both.
Okay, cool. But there's something, there's like a theme he has with his movies. He like calls it a spiritual trilogy. So it's Sicario, Hell or High Water, and Wind River. Like it deals with like the American frontier. Obviously, Wind River had stuff with like, Native Americans, things like that. Same with Hell or High Water, but it's more of just like the poor in that area of Texas. And then Sicario deals with like the Americans dealing with the cartel. Like you can see how they're kind of interconnected in that way. So it's quite interesting. I mean, definitely I would do some research on that to see, because there's more to it obviously than that.
Well, it's interesting
I didn't really
that.
do it justice, but
yeah, I mean, you get a lot of shots in this movie, at least, of the landscape of the border, and it reminds me the way the music and the way it's shot is like Villeneuve was using what he did here for what he did in Blade Runner.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
you get this droning music, and then just just like a helicopter or a plane flying over.
I think Arrival did that a lot too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's got those cool shots of the actual space, the alien spacecraft, from above, and like
I love it.
Yeah, Villeneuve, man, he knows how to work the camera. He knows how to really express the themes of these movies. He's got like a specific tone to his movies, which just makes me want to go back for more with him.
Although I will say some of this is a little bit slow, even though it's not a long movie.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on, but yet I still felt like it was moving slow. And it could have just been the way I was feeling that night when I watched it a few nights ago.
Yeah, that could be. I'm trying to, because I don't think it felt too slow to me. What is it? 2-hour movie?
Just 2 hours, yeah. So maybe it was just me.
Yeah, I think it just depends, your mood or whatever.
Before I forget, one of the shots I really love was they board this private plane, and it's shot above the plane. The camera's looking.
Oh yeah, with the shadow.
The shadow of the plane as it's taking off, and then as it's like way up in the air. I thought that was so cool.
I know.
That was a really nice touch.
I love that shot, and I also love the shot when it's towards the end when they're got their gear on and their night vision goggles and stuff. But you see them, the sunset where they all like kind of disappear into the darkness of the ground, but you still see the sky. So cool.
I marked those two down as like my 2 favorite shots of the movie.
Yeah, those were great. Yeah, good stuff. What'd you think of, Emily Blunt's performance overall?
Really good. It did exactly what you wanted to show, which is it's telling the movie for the first 20 minutes. You really don't know what's going on here.
No, you definitely don't.
And she doesn't know what's going on. And it does a really good job of showing her confusion, which is matching your confusion.
Right, yeah. She's the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point. And it shows a lot of stuff from her point of view.
Yeah.
Like the cameras from her point of view. So, you're definitely, her at that moment. Like, what is going on? I need some answers. Yeah. And that's when finally, guy from Get Out finally...
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, he finally says, let me get some answers.
Yeah. Josh Brolin, so awesome.
I love Josh Brolin. He's so
amazing.
Cool.
He grows on me more and more.
Yeah,
and more.
seriously. It makes me want to go watch No Country for Old Men again.
This movie reminded me a lot of that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if it's just the setting.
Yeah, probably the setting, because his character seems a little different.
Also, the bleakness of the movie.
Yeah.
Sense that there's really no.
Yeah, there's no hope.
Yeah, it's not as bad as that, but it's there though. That sense of death and
right.
That.
Well, I just love how his character is introduced. Like she's waiting, like thinking she's going to get in trouble for this whole this not heist, but this mission they went on that kind of failed. There was a big explosion with the shed, and he's in there with flip flops on
and like just reading glasses.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about that opening scene for a second? That
might as well. Yeah.
That sets the tone for the whole movie, right? It's
definitely.
It's going to be just what we think is just a simple bust of a guy,
right?
Cartel guy.
Yeah.
But then they barrel into the house with a SWAT truck.
Right.
I haven't seen that before.
I know. It's like they can do that.
I know, right? We just crash into it. And then there's some shooting and all that. And then, whoa. She gets shot with there's like some buckshot into the wall, and they start looking at it, and then there's all these bodies. I think there's something like maybe 40 bodies laid into the drywall of the house.
Well, when she we'll get to that in a second. When she lands or something, she says like, "Oh, he shot. Why did he shoot?" Did she say something like that?
I don't remember.
Okay, sorry. But yeah, when he shoots the wall, then all those bodies inside the drywall, and he said there was like 20 bodies. And
was she not expecting him to just?
I guess not. Well, I think that kind of touches on why she felt the way she did during that whole border scene, which obviously we have to talk about. Like, I think it has to do with that. But anyways,
so maybe I just missed it. You might have actually keyed on something I missed. So
no, I don't remember. That's why I was asking you. All right,
I don't know. But yeah, so maybe we'll figure that out as we talk through this. But yeah, they see all these bodies wrapped in plastic hitting the drywall. Ugh. And then they find, there's a shed, and there's some, like, locked bit that they're trying to get. It's buried. I guess they open it, and it's like an IED, basically, right? That just, you see a hand, and people, horrible.
Yeah,
everyone's vomiting. Yep. And just awful.
Yeah, pretty awful stuff. That's
the tone for this movie. Yeah. Like, everything is really, this is real.
Right. But yeah, it sets the tone, but it also wasn't just, they kind of set the chain of events that, would then follow. Because, I mean, obviously they were raiding this house because it was something to do with the drug cartel.
Right.
They learned about this Diaz guy.
Well, that's kind of really what it's about. I think that's what's put to the Emily Blunt character. Kate, is that her name? Katie? Kate?
Yes.
Is that... Look, do you want to just bust small timers, or do you really want to get into the real shit?
Right, yeah.
Because we're in a war here. Yeah, it's like a literal war, right? And we need to go kill the sons of bitches who are at the top, rather than just trying to bust like the little guy that's sitting there on the couch eating Cheerios or whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah, Josh Brolin's crew actually gets stuff done, whereas her crew, I mean, what do they invade? The kidnap unit or whatever they said. Yeah, she's the kidnap unit. So yeah, it's like Josh Brolin's group actually gets stuff done.
What they do is pretty much illegal, or they have a cover of legality.
So I mean that was kind of before the show when I brought up I might have some possible issues. I don't really understand Emily Blunt's moral ground here. What her actual problem is, other than just procedure.
She has. Yeah, it's procedure, but also like, yes, she does things by the book, right? That's the character. So anything that she thinks that things should operate in a certain way,
right?
And her world is just thrown upside down, and it like the curtain is pulled back.
Yeah.
Basically, like, what you think is right and wrong is not right and wrong, and what you think should be done is not true. Yeah. This is whatever game you've been playing in your head is not the real game that's actually being played.
Right, yeah.
And I think she doesn't know how to deal with it because she's been trained and taught, and everyone has told her, yes, what you're doing is correct, you're awesome, you're a star. Turns out a lot of it was just bullcrap.
Right.
So I think that's
just
she doesn't know how to deal with it.
A lot of this is just her dealing with her being out of her element.
Yeah. And I think that's the reality. Like I said, this is a war, and I think it is an actual war. It's more than a drug war.
Right.
This is just about going in and killing people, like a real war.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we're just like catching bad guys that are like, we can gather the appropriate amount of evidence against them,
right,
build a case, and then go arrest them, right? They're like, no, actually, we just need to go and kill these assholes. That's really that's the only way this is ever going to become getting close to getting solved.
Well, I mean, that's what they say when, like I said, when he was showing her the roof on the rooftop, like this is what happens when you cut off the head of a chicken.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're doing. They're trying to stir things up to try to, draw these people out. And you got to do that by doing some shady stuff, doing some things that aren't necessarily within, procedure.
Now it takes her the whole move. I don't even know if she ever really comes around to it, actually.
No, I mean, definitely not. I mean, she basically had to sign that paper with Benicio Del Toro because he had a gun to her head.
But I feel like the audience leaves her behind. At least I left her behind.
Yeah, I'd say that too. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's my issue is, again, I know, that she's out of her element. She's, worried about procedure and, we shouldn't be going in and killing these people. We should be just catching the bad guys, where it seemed like there should have been more of a moral high ground that was clearer, because to me, the stuff they were doing didn't seem that out of place. Like, it didn't seem that shady. I mean, they went through, like we said, and just totally drove through a house and and just
that was by the book, apparently.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about sneaking across the border with military personnel, that's not by the book. Nobody even knows who any of these guys are. We find out at some point that they're CIA, we think.
Okay.
Do we really even know who Alejandro is? The Benicio Del Toro?
No.
Do we actually know what
he's like part of the Colombian cartel or something,
he said he was a prosecutor in Colombia.
Yeah.
And what? I mean, but he's a prosecutor who learned how to become a hitman. Like,
apparently,
I don't know. Or was he always a part of the cartel that he became an asset?
Right.
It's like, what is the truth? You don't know.
Right.
But I don't know. So I guess you just have to leave morality aside in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's what I think too. It just seemed like she was holding on to that, and it's like, why? I don't know if it was a flaw just in the movie, and it just wasn't coherent enough, or maybe I'm just not understanding it completely. But
no, I think that's the conflict. I guess that's maybe that's the central conflict.
Yeah, that's true.
Is the what's the right way to do something versus what's maybe the most effective.
Yeah, that's true.
Or what's, I don't know, what's effective? Because is going around, we don't know what happens. Well, maybe we'll find out in Sicario too.
Well, I mean, maybe we could talk through this when let's talk about this border scene. So, I mean, basically she gets recruited, to join Josh Brolin, right? Yeah. And then
she doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
Where she's going. She's told she's going to El Paso.
Yeah, so they stop right outside the border in America, and they meet and stuff. Like, anything that'll happen will be coming back from, near the border. So nothing's going to happen when we get this guy that we're going to get.
Right.
Which I don't even know if we knew they were getting a guy until they actually got him.
And we get into that meeting room in the hangar, and whoever the commander was like talking about the mission, but you don't actually know anything what he's saying.
Okay.
I don't think you're supposed to know.
Yeah.
You're like, as we said, the character is the audience in that sense, where she doesn't know and therefore you don't know.
Right. Yeah.
And maybe
that makes sense.
Maybe that's really it, is that you evolve past this character.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Eventually, you establish your own sense of what's right and wrong. And
I accept that. Yeah, I mean, because there's something captivating about this movie. But for me to have those issues, I'm like, why do I have this issue? Like, why?
I don't think it's a flaw.
Yeah, I like that. You evolve past this character. Like you almost but you understand Josh Brolin and Benicio Del Toro. You understand, like, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
I'll give you a great example just about that. Is that bank scene when they catch the girl and she runs into the truck and Brolin's like, "Don't go into that bank.
Yeah,
do not go into that bank." And she just like, this is effed or whatever.
Yeah.
And
we got a case. Yeah. We got to go in.
What does she do? She goes into the bank. Yep. And what happens? And as the audience, not to just listen to the guy.
Yeah. He knows what he's talking about.
And why? Because, and you feel, I felt it before you even see on screen, is that her face is being captured by the video camera.
Yeah. And then now that's going to be part of the cartel. They're going to know who she is and they're going to go after him.
Now,
after her.
None of these guys are necessarily good guys.
Right.
But they're not going to tell her, they're not going to tell her to do something that's going to endanger her life. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
They're in there to, she's a good guy. I mean, it's sort of like a black and white thing. There's good guys and bad guys. You're a good guy. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to steer you wrong. They want to kill bad guys, and that's it. And just listen to them for your own sake, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean that's a great point there. And then
But where were we? I don't remember where the hell we were.
we were going to talk about the border scene.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
They get this guy because the federales had him, so they're like, oh no, we're going to take him, he's ours. They even have like a federale escort, get into that place, and then they trying to bring him back, and they're at the border. It's like, oh, we're almost there, we're almost home.
How nuts is all of
Oh
this?
my goodness, so much tension. I love the scene. The tension just builds and builds and builds until...
Was this filmed like on location? You think it looked like it, right?
It looks like it, yeah.
Doesn't look like any place I've ever seen in my life.
No, definitely not. I mean, I've never been, driving through the Mexican border. The only border I've ever driven through is Canada, and that's friendly. That's friendly territory there.
Doesn't look like Juarez.
No, not so much. Yeah, it's a lot cooler.
One of the things I love about this, they meet up with these like Jeeps in the Mexican federales,
right?
And they're like riding in the back. They go over this like massive bump. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
When the guys are like holding on for,
yeah.
I don't know what it is about. I love that. I'm like feeling
cool.
it with them.
Yeah, that was cool. So yeah, I mean they're looking at different cars as they're trying to get through this traffic jam that is the border, and then they see some guys with guns possibly, and
these guys look a little suspicious.
Yeah, I'd say so, and rightfully so. They did have guns, so they all get out of the cars,
and they just start shooting them.
Yeah.
But she's really mad at them for doing it, but what are they supposed to do?
Well, she has to kill a guy out of it. She sees a guy that...
Yeah, and he was a federale, which they said don't trust anybody, basically anyone.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
He was in a uniform.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Oh, yeah, she said, Benicio Del Toro said to her, even the federales can be the bad guys.
Yeah, something like, if they're doing something, I don't know what it was, but yeah. He was about to blow her head off, and then she got him first. Yeah. Because she doesn't want to get out of the truck. Everyone says, get out of the truck. She's the only one that stays into the series of, 4 or 5 trucks that are there.
Yep.
It's very stubborn.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's like, no, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed.
Yeah, this is not
our jurisdiction.
But she handles herself well.
Right.
And that's what I like about her. Even though she's going through all this crap and she has all these moral objections,
right.
She is tough. I mean, she's having a hard time, but she's not giving up.
Right.
She's just going to that final scene where she's like, I want to know what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I want to see this thing through. They've kept me in the dark. I want that knowledge of what the heck is happening.
Right, exactly.
Experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the one thing I do want to pivot to talking about actors is, I don't know, do you know Jeffrey Donovan? He was the guy with the mustache and the glasses.
Okay. No, I mean...
I don't know if you ever saw the TV show Burn Notice.
No.
It was a USA thing. It's really... we talk about guilty pleasures, how I don't have one. That one is definitely a guilty pleasure. But I don't know what your impression of just him as a minor character was, but I love the guy.
I mean, he rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I think that's what his character is supposed to do, though. Like, just like kind of staring at Emily Blunt when she first gets there. It's just like, get out of here, guy. What are you doing?
Yeah, he was also in Angelina Jolie's Changeling movie, if you ever saw that.
Okay, yeah, no.
Anyway, but I just wanted to mention him briefly, but we really need to talk about Benicio Del Toro.
Yeah, Benicio Del Toro, yeah.
Oh, Alejandro.
Oh, man.
And we mentioned him just a few minutes ago we don't know anything about him, but even without knowing much about him, the guy is a force.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, he dominates this movie, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, well, because he automatically he brings intrigue. When he shows up on the airplane, barely says a word. He's not
cheesy sunglasses almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the kind of cheesy suit and white suit,
the
and
white
everything.
jacket.
Yeah, definely. Wait,
no, there was a line. Oh, he has a great line to Emily Blunt.
Uh-huh.
She's like, she's like, I want to know what's going on, and he's like, you're trying to find out how the watch works. He's like, just watch the time or something along. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a brilliant line.
Yeah, that was a good line. Yeah, he's got good lines here and there. You're scared of him, when you first meet him, but you don't know why. He's got this little way about him.
Yeah.
Quiet but strong. Character.
But it seems like it's sort of like the Josh Brolin thing. If you're on the good side, you're cool. If you're not, I'm gonna, mess your shit up.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Which we saw when he captured the guy, the one we were talking about across the border. The Jeffrey Donovan character lets him drink out of a little bottle of water.
Yeah.
And then a few minutes later, he's carrying a giant jug.
Oh, yeah, I didn't make that juxtaposition there. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, he's bringing a huge gallon of water.
So it was like 10 gallons of water.
So they bring that big guy back and they're interrogating him. So
Right.
what was that when he gets like super close to the guy, like almost crotch to face?
I don't really.
Was that just like an intimidation,
I think
like
so.
Demeaning him?
I think
like,
so. Yeah, just physical intimidation.
Okay, yeah, and then
I'm like, I'm up on you and you can't do nothing.
yeah,
right
exactly,
now. Yeah.
and like demeaning him, like the
What are you
whole
gonna do?
crotch to your face
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And then they just show a thing of the drain, the Donovan character you were talking about, like just like I'm out of here, and turns off the camera and leaves, and Josh Brolin's just sitting there like,
You're like, what? Hey, no hablo inglés.
yeah, no,
whatever it is.
oh man, Josh Brolin again. Listen to that Mark Maron episode with Josh Brolin. It just came out not like last month.
Yeah.
Listen to that. He's just it makes you like just like him even more. He's just so cool. But yeah,
I love Josh Brolin.
then they go to the drain and then like making noises. So I'm not like, is he doing something sexual to him? It almost seems, or is he just doing something violent towards him?
I thought, I don't know. We don't really have an answer to that.
Yeah.
But what's going on with the water bottle? I mean, is he gonna put that whole thing in his mouth?
Well, that's the whole thing I got from it when he took that huge water bottle. They're just gonna waterboard him.
Yeah,
like
right.
They
But
do in the military.
we don't see anything going into the drain. It just cuts away, right? We
Yeah,
don't
that's
really
true.
know anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of mystery in this movie. A lot of things are shown to you and then like hidden from you
Right.
immediately.
Yeah, like the whole guy with his family in Mexico, the cop who keeps waking up and showing time with him and his family.
That's a great question. That's a great thing to bring up because is there a parallel between that guy and the Emily Blunt character? Because Emily Blunt, what we find out right at the end, which is this raid to go through the tunnel to catch the Diaz cartel guy,
Right.
she's been little more than a pawn. In this
Right,
whole
yeah, because
thing
they say they need a domestic agency
to make it legal.
and that's why they most likely have her sign that thing
Is
to
that
say
really legal?
right. Well, I think because that they'll then say yes, they did everything correct, and
Right.
oh, we have an agency that said it was correct.
And we just crossed the border. We had one FBI agent, and we sent like a battalion of
Right.
troops across or something, right? Like, at what point does that get limited? Like, it doesn't seem
Yeah.
like any of this is. Basically, she needs to just sign the piece of paper at the end.
Right.
That's really all it
Exactly.
is.
Yeah.
But this guy, the question about this crooked cop, crooked Mexican cop.
Right.
I don't know. Is he like the Emily Blunt version in Mexico?
I mean, what makes you think that? I mean, what?
I don't know because what is this?
Well, I mean, 'cause-
he's conflicted morally, right? He's doing what he can to survive.
Yeah,
like
he's just trying to
anybody
do
else.
what's best for his family. He's. I assume he's getting paid a little more.
He's a law enforcement officer, just
Right.
like her. Maybe he's dealing with the powerful people in his country in the same way, and all you kind of need to do is you throw a few bundles of drugs in your trunk. I don't know. It doesn't make him good, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I mean,
mean-
they're trying to tell you something about this guy. I'm not clear what it is.
And
But
if that's the case, maybe it's the almost anyone who's powerful. So, I mean, whether it be the American government
Right.
or the Mexican cartel,
you answer to them.
you answer to them
Yeah.
because they have power over you.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
You're kind of doing the best you can in that situation. right?
Definitely, yeah.
What does he do? I don't know. Does he refuse them? I don't know.
Right.
And then we
just like at the end, does she refuse him or she gets her head blown off,
He signs that piece of paper.
Right, yeah.
Well, okay. Well, here's another one, right? That American cop. How about this scene? Well, I do not want to forget about this scene. The cowboy bar. That guy. Holy crap! After the bank scene,
Yep.
Daniel Kaluuya takes her out to this cowboy bar. There's this seemingly nice cop friend of
John
his.
Bernthal.
Is he? He's in
from
Wind River.
He's
right?
from Walking Dead. He's from Wind River. He's the Punisher in the new
okay.
Netflix series.
I haven't seen that. Is it good?
I haven't seen that, but I've seen he was the Punisher in season 2 of Daredevil, which is great, and he's amazing. So I really want to check out the series.
They spend a bit of time
Right.
on this bar scene.
Yep.
When they meet, it's a little bit of a build up here. They introduce each other. There's like a right.
Yeah, there's a connection. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely build up. They kind of meet at first,
they
and then
dance.
he leaves, and then they're talking at a table, and then they dance, and then
they're about to hook up.
Yep.
And then he takes out his wallet and his keys, and he accidentally takes out the rubber band that was also the rubber band that the girl was using for high fiving.
no, I'm
Okay, go ahead. No,
waiting to talk.
Talk,
It's
please,
my
now.
question time. So was he there originally though to get her? Was she basically his hitman or whatever?
I don't think. Well, I think what Alejandro
Or was that all
says-
just a coincidence?
It wasn't a coincidence. She went into the bank when she was told not to,
Right.
which revealed her face, which he was sent to go find her, which I think Alejandro either tells her, either lies to her or tells her the truth, but he says he was just trying to get information from you. And now I'm questioning if he was going to get it just
Because I think she even said, I almost slept with my hitman. And then, he said he was just trying to get information from me.
He was about to go down on her. Well, yeah, that's what was he just going to like bang her and then try to find out?
Yeah, like
what
try to
she
get
knew?
close to her and then like.
Or was he just going to bang her and kill her? I don't know.
I think he was just doing it more subtly, it seemed. But yeah, I don't know. Like that was my confusion. Was like, so was he sent there to?
Yeah, because this guy now has no choice to do anything in his life, right?
Right.
He's now he basically got a little greedy and did a favor for the cartel, and now he cannot get out of it.
Yeah, that's true. And it's probably the same with the Mexican cop.
And it's hard to, you basically, if you say yes once, you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
you're in this life.
Now they have you.
Right.
And what are you going to do? They'll either, and if you don't say no really quick, it just gets worse and worse as you go.
Right.
And they'll expose you. And now you're like, what, I'm going to go to jail now as a crooked cop? Because they'll just turn on you or they'll just shoot you or something. You're done. Your life is now over. You said yes once to like a quick few $1,000s, and now your life is over.
And same with Emily Blunt's character. Like, is she now forever in the
she's in it now.
Situation she's in? You know, it's crazy.
So all these characters are getting pushed into this bigger war, this bigger thing that they didn't even Emily Blunt character didn't even know that veil was removed. Those scales were removed from her eyes. And now she saw the real world, how it actually operates, and she's having a really hard time handling it.
Yeah. So I mean, that definitely makes me understand more her issues in this movie. It makes more sense. Before we do run out of time, I do want to make sure we do mention the final scene with Benicio Del Toro and the head cartel guy.
I sidetracked.
No. Stuff your sorries in a sack, bruh.
Dude, I don't carry sacks. You're the one with the super hot shot backpack.
I have a new backpack for my podcast equipment.
You sent me a picture of it and showed me all the compartments today. I've never seen someone more proud of a backpack.
I am.
Well, it's not. No, to call it a backpack is insulting.
Yes, that is very insulting. Is not that's like calling it a knapsack. No, it is a podcasting bag.
Carrying case?
It's a carrying bag. It's a podcast.
Soft case?
It's a podcast go bag. Okay?
If anybody needs
backpack.
Ben, immediately, if you on short notice, if the bat signal goes out and we're we need Ben, we need a podcaster.
Yeah.
We need it now. He's ready to roll.
I'm ready.
He's got
that happens, right?
It does.
That usually happens. People are like, "Hey Ben, we really need you to record something for us. Can you come and help us?" Yeah. I sure can, because I have a podcast bag that I can quickly grab and leave the house with.
I don't. I keep everything in this little chest at home, and it takes me forever to get anything out. So I'm such a loser.
This episode of Blockbuster Mentality is brought to you by podcast bags. Go where you need to go and record what you need to record.
I wish I could plug a promo code right now. That would be amazing.
Well, we're working on that. We're working on that. We got to get more listens. Anyways.
Well, that's all in our
all right, so that is it for us today. No,
let's hit on this.
Benicio Del Toro, you found out that his family basically got killed by the Mexican cartel.
We think. Do we know really any truth?
Well, I guess that's true.
But no, you're right. No, we know at minimum that his family.
Yeah, his family's killed.
Yeah,
his wife got. She was beheaded. His daughter was thrown in a vat of acid.
That's revealed at the very end,
right?
When he okay, so the tunnel stuff. Can we talk a little bit through that? We have that amazing scene where they all land. They figure out where this tunnel is, and they draw this Diaz guy to go through the tunnel.
So basically, this whole thing was to, cut the head of the chicken off and see what happens, because the guy they captured in Mexico was Diaz's brother, right?
Yeah.
Or the head of the cartel's brother.
It's
and he was basically the leader within Mexico, I assume.
right. Diaz was the man in the United States.
They take him away, so chaos is happening. Diaz gets scared in the United States, so he's like, "Oh, I got to go to Mexico," because they were I think they were trying to do that. They were trying to flush him out,
trying to get him to call back just so they could find him.
Right,
find
exactly.
Out the way
Which they do, and that's when we meet the cop again from Mexico.
Well, how crazy is this though? He pulls him over, and it's really intense. I mean, the cop does not. He's terrified.
Right.
He doesn't seem like a bad guy.
Right.
Even though he's moving drugs, but it's like, does he strike you as like a violent person?
No, definitely not. Like, he's just doing what he can do. He even tells Benicio, like, I have a family, He
does. I mean, we see his kid, we see his wife. He takes him to his soccer game, and they eat breakfast. And I don't know. You end up getting sympathy for this guy,
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that's where you kind of see the badness of Benicio. It's like, did you really have to shoot the cop? I mean,
What was he going to do? Yeah. Shoot him in the leg, or just do nothing. Like,
exactly.
What's he going to do? Or maybe he might alert someone. I don't know. But
yeah, that's true too. But yeah, you definitely feel sympathy for the cop. Like, I guess that's. I
don't want to see him die.
Yeah, that's Villeneuve's way of telling us that, like, even innocent people can get caught up in this game.
Absolutely.
This
war,
or just collateral damage at that point.
And how cool is this of how he makes his way in?
Oh man, that's just. I mean, there's no way we can do it justice just by telling it, but he has Diaz pull up, and he's already killed him. Basically, he's like slit his throat or whatever, and he pulls up, and they're like, "Oh, Mr. Diaz," and then, oh my god,
he's like a super assassin.
So awesome! Like, he just goes through their compound, just murking guys left and right. And he he leaves the maid alone. At least he doesn't shoot the maid.
And she's smart enough to not like drop the tray she's holding and scream or do anything.
Yeah,
because she kind of knows. She knows where she's working. Yeah,
because he wouldn't have gotten this far in the house if he didn't kill some dudes.
So, what do you feel about him generally as an actor? I'm a fan, but I can't say that I can like point anything that I love him in other than really this movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I really liked him in Usual Suspects just because
but that was
he was a unique character. Yeah, I mean he was in 21 Grams. He was in.
I never saw that.
What else was he in? He was
Snatch.
in Traffic. He won an Oscar for Traffic.
Did he?
Snatch. Yep. He's just had these small roles here and there.
It's funny in Snatch. I thought him and Brad Pitt were the same person. I don't know. I was confused.
Oh, interesting.
Stupid thought by me. But
I'm just going to say it now. Confession: I've never seen Snatch, so
I don't know that I saw it either. Even though I saw it, I don't know that there was any.
Yeah.
I don't know what I saw. One of those deals.
Okay. Yeah,
don't know what the hell that movie was about.
I know those movies. I know the movies were.
It's like Lock, Stock, and
what did I watch?
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
Nobody really likes that movie. It's just shooting. There's no story.
Exactly.
So anyway, just saying that.
But yeah, as an actor, I mean, I liked him in this movie. I did not like him in Last Jedi. I mean, so those are two recent movies.
Terrible.
I mean, I can actually say I love him in this movie. I think his character is just awesome. It's great. So yeah, he's sitting at the table.
Yeah. Have you seen the Netflix series Narcos?
No, I need to check it out though.
I was in trouble drinking there.
Well, I was trying to talk as I had beer in my mouth. Okay. You ask me questions as I'm drinking.
I will refrain from doing that in the future. But I only mentioned it because in Colombia they have these amazing like palatial estates, but they eat outside.
Yeah,
and it looks sort of similar to this, and it's beautiful, right? This is like an amazing place to live.
Oh my god, yeah.
But they're having dinner outdoors with it's all covered and lit and all that, and it looks sort of similar to that. And he just walks up to this family.
Yep.
The wife and the two sons, and he's so. I think what I love about Brolin and what I like about Benicio Del Toro is their calmness.
Right. Yep.
How slow and steady they are.
It's
love
like
that.
Yeah, it's menacing in a way. Like I said earlier, quiet but strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Benicio just like sits down, and the dude knows what's up. He knows what's going on.
Yeah.
He knows what he did to Benicio's family, and I can't remember exactly what Benicio says, but the
guy's kind of I don't remember either, but I remember the cartel boss is like just pleading like not in front of my family, and no, you're not afforded.
Right. Yeah.
he shoots the family first.
Yep. And then he says, finish eating.
Yeah.
Like, he makes him, like, live through having to finish eating his food while knowing that his family was just killed right in front of him.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible. But,
so,
you know, the bad guy, so he's got to be worse than Del Toro, I'm assuming.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, look what he's done to. I mean, look what he did to Benicio's family. Look what he
that's
did.
what we learn about the beheading and all that.
Exactly. So yeah, it's intense stuff. Cinematically, that scene is just
awesome,
amazing.
Yeah.
Just like the build up to it and everything. It's just like wow.
I want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
Brolin tells Emily Blunt this idea that like. What we're doing here? Because she comes back, they go back and get her because she went out the wrong tunnel. We don't know what that means. Brings her back. He's like wrestling with her. It actually reminds me of the way the dirty cop was almost going to choke her out and kill her.
Oh yeah,
he's
that's
like, stop,
true, yeah.
stop. She doesn't really stop. She's like, oh, he's fighting, and finally, I mean, Brolin's not trying to kill her. He's just trying to like get her to just like calm down.
Yeah.
He explains it to her like, here's what we're doing. There's so much chaos going on, and we need to return back to a time where, like, the Medellin cartel, which is Medellin is what they called Benicio Del Toro.
Yeah, Colombian's cartel, yeah.
When they used to run everything, we need to just deal with, like, one big player versus a bunch of them. And he says something like, until he's like 20% of the country is doing drugs or something like that.
Yeah.
And until that stops, this is the reality we live in. I just wanted to get your impression or your... Do you agree in what he said? This like 20% number, like until people stop using drugs, this is going to be our reality. I wonder about that. I mean, because I've heard that outside of this movie.
Yeah,
basically, like the demand for the drugs means that we're going to have this insanity. When that death and destruction starts making its way over the border, then this is when you get a response.
Yeah, I guess once it starts happening on American soil, they gotta be like,
when you get bombs going off in an Arizona subdivision, then
you're gonna take that personal first of all, but also you got to make sure you protect your people. You protect,
alarm bells start going off. We start forming illegal teams that go in and start killing people like indiscriminately.
So within the realm of this movie, you don't think what they're doing is effective at all, or
I don't know. I mean, well, I don't have a problem with killing bad guys.
Yeah,
I guess. I mean, maybe could be a path forward, and maybe that's kind of the lesson is that the Emily Blunt, we need to do things by the book, is so stupid that you just shouldn't even pay attention to it.
Right.
We should treat this like an actual war and not a quote unquote drug war where we make busts and we measure the success by how much drugs we're seizing by pounds. We really should measure it by how many bad guys we're killing.
Yeah, for people who go so far off the book, we cannot handle them by the book, Right. We can't use the tactics that are on the book when they're doing things like hanging people,
putting IEDs in sheds, and
exactly, and hanging people from overpasses, chopping off heads. Yeah, exactly. It's like, we got to meet that with more than just by the book.
It's a big subject. It's
absolutely.
Deep,
yeah,
it really makes you challenge. I mean, I'm just throwing out all this.
No,
stuff
definitely.
Right now
it's hard. I mean, it's cool to talk through and it's fun to talk through and all that. But it's just like, it's one of those topics where it's just like,
these are big moral questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I mean, we're just like giving our impressions off the top of our heads right now. Right. I mean, to work this out morally, and then that's, I guess, maybe that's really kind of the end point of the movie is what's right and wrong.
Right.
I don't know. What I know is I don't want to have IEDs in my shed.
No,
or my neighbor.
Not so much.
So that's my starting point, and everything else will work after that.
I think I'm good for now. I'm not addicted to any drug or anything, so that's good.
Yeah. Watch out for my track marks here, but
careful.
Between the toes.
As a movie, I think this is a really good movie.
I do too. Even though it's confusing, and I want to figure out what the heck is going on with that tunnel.
The tunnel. I think it's just something you're gonna have to let go. But how would you rate this movie?
I'm gonna give this thing 3.5 stars. I feel like I should maybe give it more, but I'm gonna hold fast on that, and I'm gonna give it 3 buckets of popcorn. What do you got?
That's pretty much identical to me. 3.5 stars, 3 buckets of popcorn.
Well, why are you looking at my sheet before you give your answer?
Well, no, I was correct. I just wanted to make sure you were correct.
But I almost feel like I should give this thing 4 stars, but I don't know. It doesn't quite get there for me.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of incoherence, a lot of questions, and just, I think now that I think about it, how you said, it seemed like it dragged a little bit at some points. I think I felt that too.
And I don't know why, because it feels like there's a lot of crazy action going on.
Right.
But still, it's slow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But is that a Villeneuve thing? Arrival's not fast.
Yeah, that's definitely not fast.
2049 is certainly not fast.
Not so much. Yeah, I think Villeneuve likes to take his time and really build up the story, which I think he does a great job at. So, and, as you look at those movies, I think he's gotten better and better. I mean, Sicario, and then you got Arrival, and then you got Blade Runner 2049. I mean, obviously, totally different movies.
I know, very different, yeah.
But it seems like he's finding a groove. He's finding his, his balance, with his movies. So.
Well, in any event, I'm definitely looking forward to Sicario 2.
Me too.
And
by the time the episode releases, we might have already seen it. We might already even have a review out for it.
Oh, that's insanity. Well, that is that's all up to MoviePass at this point.
Yes, that is true.
Actually, get ourselves in this seat.
Come on, MoviePass.
If you've heard our top 5 movie robot or robot. Robot.
Top 5 movie robots.
Okay, we both have a lengthy rant on that.
That's true. All right, well, that is it for us, folks. That is Sicario from 2015. Be sure to follow us on YouTube and subscribe and leave comments. Let us know what your thoughts are on Sicario. Let us know on Twitter at BlockbusterCast. My personal account is at BCCord.
I'm at Dave_Quist.
And just help us,
Give us some help.
Support us. I don't know. No, continue interacting with us on Twitter. We really enjoy that.
Yeah, I'll say this. We are loving everything you guys are doing. We appreciate all the support, all the listens. It feels like we're getting some momentum.
Yeah,
here.
definitely. We got some guest spots on future shows. And
we are like really hot now.
We're hot. We are so hot right now.
We're having a lot of fun, and a lot of you guys keep us going. I think, right?
Definitely. Absolutely.
You get that energy moving. So very much appreciated. Thank you all for everything.
Definitely. All right, folks. Well, that is it for us. For Davo, I'm Ben Secord, and as always, grab some popcorn, grab some snacks. We'll catch you guys at the movies.